Hey everyone, I'm going to show you how I use Novacolor paint 2025, alright? It comes in the mail in these tubs. The smallest size that you can buy in Novacolor is this size. 4-ounce pint quart, okay? So, Novacolor paint, it comes in the mail in the tub. What do I do with it? Well, I take this tape off. And I used to, if you've been following my channel for a while, I used to put all my paint in these, but it ends up drying out. So I kind of stopped using these and I switched to these. So let me see if I can get it in here without making a huge mess. What I'm going to do is shake this up. Shaking it up. Now I'm just going to be bold and fill this up. Ready? And then I always wipe around the edges with my own finger. I don't want to waste any of that precious, wonderful paint. And then I always wipe the top off so that when I close it, it doesn't stick. All right? So now I have my MVP medium violet purple here. Okay, and then might put a little MVP up here. So here the paint is ready to be used. And let me show you a couple of things I do with my Novacolor paint. Side note, I highly recommend getting this in the mail. Oh, it's upside down. I highly recommend getting this in the mail. I've had this one forever. All right, I got my Novacolor paint in here, but now what do I do with it? I use pretty much 2 different kinds of palettes here. The cheapest one, these are 99 cents at Ben Franklin. The cheap ones, you can just peel the paint right out of and keep using them. The paint just peels right out. These are also cheaper plastic, which means the paint will just peel right out. Let's see if I can do a more fun reveal. The paint just peels out and you can just use it again. I used to use palette paper, but it was kind of a waste, you know, when you can just peel these out and use them again. Okay, so now I have my Novacolor paint in my, the heck is this thing called? Ketchup mustard dispenser. I'm gonna put a little bit, we're just gonna start painting. I'm gonna show you how I start painting. Put a little bit in there. Oh, look at that beautiful paint. It's so thin and buttery. Take my little canvas here. Oh, hold on a minute. Can you see how bent and warped and flappy this canvas is? Let's fix that real quick. I'm gonna give you a little side pointer here. I just take a big brush that holds a lot of water. This is just plain water. Brushing it in on the back. I used to think it had to be hot. It doesn't. It can be cold. Any type of water. Just get the back real wet. And as soon as this dries, look at that. It was almost instant. Well, as soon as this dries, it's going to be perfectly flat for me. Okay, and then I put it down, but I don't like it when it moves around, so I grab my Stikki TACK, which I'm like obsessed with this stuff, which is also like $2 or $3. Lasts a long time. Putting it on the back of my canvas right here. Like this. And I'm pressing it down so it won't go anywhere. Okay? I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so now that I also have Stikki TACK on the bottom of my palette so that once I press it down here, it won't move. Let's do a woman's head. I have a wet brush. But you see how it's kind of dragging there? It's kind of like dragging, it's not slick and smooth. So we're going to grab our Liquitex Flow, which is, say it with me, paint thinner. It looks like this. Tiny bit of Liquitex Flow right here on the side next to my paint so I can make like a little pool of it extra wet. And then once it's really wet, it'll go and do like a lot of things without that drag. This is like nice, see, with the flow, nice flowy movements. Tell me in the comments what your favorite kind of caffeine is. Right now, for me, I'm like obsessed with Zip Fizz, and so I just drink it in old plastic bottles I find. So yeah, I want to know how you're doing your caffeine. So, all right. Okay, so I'm continuing on this. You know, this is really, really dark. So I'm going to go over to my favorite other secret weapon that I use pretty much every time I paint. Liquitex Matte Medium. Boop, looks like that. If I put matte medium in here next to my paint, it's basically clear acrylic. And I just mix a tiny bit of purple in there. I'm going to get this cool, like transparent. Wow, it's almost so transparent you can't see it. Tiny bit more color just so you can see it here. Now it's more clear. See how there's way less color? Way less color, so you can kind of like maybe think about your drawing. You can even go next level and add flow to it, right? Maybe it's not slick enough. It's now transparent enough, but now it's not slick enough. We added some flow, which will just really set this off. And you can kind of ghost your ideas in there. Lips, eyes, instead of being fully committed with that dark purple. So that's just a real quick introduction of what I do when I get in my Novacolor paint. I'm going to review it. I put the paint from this into this. And then I put the paint into my palette. I got a little bit of flow on one side to make real wet paint so it doesn't drag so much like this. And then I put some matte medium over here so I could get some clear. Let's really make the point with that clear. This is like 80% matte medium, 20% paint. I don't know. So I just wanted to really show you that when we're dealing with matte medium, you can really go transparent with it and then just like work your stuff in. Work your shadows in one at a time. See, if I let this dry and I did another layer on it, and I let this dry and I did another layer on it, see what I'm saying? I could make some pretty cool hair shapes with just matte medium, and then I can go, if I wanted to, dip back into like my thinned out paint, right? Because I put some flow on there. And I used the Real Flow ingredients, recipe, sorry, which is, the Real Flow recipe is 1 part Flow Aid to 20 parts water. So that's what this is. Okay, so we got our clear transparent here. And now we're going to go back and grab some darker purple and like wet. If we want to, while it's still wet, we can work in more of like a shadow. And if you paint all the time, or maybe even if you don't, you can get some ideas watching me do this, like, oh, I could do maybe like, you could get good at doing smooth, or if I wanted to, I could, while it's still wet, I could take my paintbrush and come back here and even erase. Did you see how I did that? I just took the paint out, made it more smooth. So you can push it all around. The matte medium dries exactly the same time that the paint does. So it doesn't make it wetter or last longer or nothing. All the matte medium does is add clear. It makes the paint, it makes your paint last longer in general, because you can add matte medium to useless paint. So I hope I'm making sense here. I'm absolutely obsessed with Novacolor paint, and it's the only paint I use. If I get tubes or golden or anything like that, I either mix it in or I do an experiment. But Novacolor paint does everything I want it to do. That's why I use it and I endorse it and I tell other people to use it. Okay, we got kind of a cool little girl started here, or person. And you got, I hope, some idea of how you can use the matte medium here to get all these values, and how to use the Flow Aid just to make the paint go on smoother. I also showed you how to fix that canvas dent real quick, water on the back. See, it's perfectly flat now. Okay, tell me in the comments if you learned something new, and what your favorite Novacolor paint color is, and how you're doing your caffeine every day. Tell me your secrets. Okay, thank you for listening to me blab on about this stuff. I'm just like obsessed with acrylic paint and all the things you can do with it. So I hope you try Novacolor. Right now, honestly, my favorite color that they put out is this Indian yellow color. It's kind of transparent, but it is amazing. Okay, that is all. Please subscribe. Yeah, Novacolor paint. Woo!